T plus 5 minutes, 14 seconds and counting. SpaceX confirms that both the first and second stages continue on a nominal path. So we're now less than a minute from the start of the first stage entry burn. T plus 5 minutes, 45 seconds and counting. It's 30 seconds to that entry burn starting. Again, the two boxes on the right-hand side of your screen are the SpaceX feeds, so they're on about a 10-second delay from the real-time count clock that we have there on the upper right-hand corner of the screen. So the events will come at just a little bit of a delay on the SpaceX feed from what we see here. And you see the start of the entry burn there, T plus 6 minutes, 24 seconds. That's from Pete's camera view. That burn will last just a few more seconds from Pete's perspective, and you see the delayed view from SpaceX's onboard cameras in the upper right-hand corner, and now in the center of your screen. You look at you see the end of that burn there. Next milestone coming up is in just over a minute from now. The first stage landing burn will begin at T plus 8 minutes, 1 second. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see that from the ground, but SpaceX's onboard cameras from both the Falcon 9 first stage, which you see there on the left-hand side of your screen, will continue to provide views of that. The box on the right will shift from the Merlin vacuum engine view that you see right now to a view from the drone ship. Now T plus 7.5 minutes into flight. Now T plus 8 minutes, 1 second. This is the start of the landing burn in real time. Again, the time to watch now at this point is at the bottom of your screen. So landing burn will begin.
Stage 1, landing burn, start.
Right now.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
That landing burn will last about 10 more seconds as it makes its way down to the drone ship.
Stage 1, landing leg deployed.
The landing leg is extended. The first stage booster successfully back on the drone ship, a short fall of gravitas.
Stage 1, landing confirmed.
This booster now having made its fourth flight to and from space, sending the 23 Starlink V2 mini satellites well on their way.
And back shutdown.
Need a call out for a Merlin vacuum engine to cease firing. It'll remain in a coast phase now until T plus 54 minutes, 10 seconds, at which point it will reignite for a 3-second burn, setting up the Starlink satellites to deploy at T plus 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 29 seconds. Taking a look back here on the ground at pad 40, where the Falcon 9 rocket launched just 9.5 minutes ago. A so far successful start to SpaceX's second launch of the day. Very busy time for SpaceX as it not only had these two launches today, but it is also preparing to do testing with not one but two of its ship vehicles over at Boca Chica at Starbase tomorrow. So a very busy time for SpaceX at all of its sites around the country. Now T plus 10 minutes, 8 seconds, and counting into flight. Do want to circle back and thank some of the folks that helped support our coverage this evening that wasn't able to get to right before liftoff, but do want to acknowledge and give our appreciation to all of you. To Cody Allen for becoming a channel member at the pad leader level. Really appreciate you for that, Cody. And several super chat donations. Charles Boyer with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Charles. Susanna Stucco with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Susanna. Paul Chaknis and Ageless Auctions, both each making a $20 super chat donation. Thank you to the both of you. Double Throws with a $2 super chat. Asking us to show the local time so we can show we're live, which we certainly have been. Up on the upper right-hand corner of your screen, it is just before 10:30 here local time on the East Coast. So there's that. Tracy Nichols, appreciate the $10 super chat donation, watching from St. Augustine, Florida. Ree with a $2 super chat donation. Thank you, Ree. And SG joining us once again with another $5 super chat with the thumbs up fox and the kimono emoji that I appreciate so much. Taking a look back at this morning's Starlink launch, SpaceX not only showing some views of the liftoff from Vandenberg Space Force Base, but also of the deployment of the Starlink satellites as well. 21 Starlinks on that particular mission. This is a view of those deploying from the Falcon 9 upper stage for the Starlink 7-5 mission. Take a look at the reflective side of this stack. You can see a really nice view of the Falcon 9 upper stage as the Starlinks drift away from the vehicle. And keep an eye on the top and bottom of the stack here in the cameras. You can see there's the Merlin vacuum engine before it made its deorbit burn and the stack of 21 Starlinks drifting away. And as we take a look at this one more time, you can see in the top and the bottom of your screen the retracting of the two arms that were holding the Starlinks in place. You see those folding up to the body of the second stage of the Falcon 9 before the vehicle made its deorbit burn, keeping everything all nice and tucked in. That we've had a successful liftoff nearly 14 minutes ago. Go ahead and take one last look at the mission stats of where this particular Falcon 9 flight happened to fall for SpaceX. But before we get to that, want to thank a few more super chat donations that came in. Brad Hedinger joining us again with a $2 super chat donation. Thank you, Brad. Says, another awesome broadcast gain. Thanks, Spaceflight Now, friends. Well, thank you, Brad. Really appreciate you being here and for the support. Rob Dorr, $5 super chat, saying just watch this from Cocoa Beach Pier. Awesome watching this feed along with it. Well, we're certainly more than happy to provide some pre-flight viewing and commentary, and Cocoa Beach Pier, a great place to watch, especially a Southeast Trajectory mission. And also the Tiger once again joining us with a $5 super chat, saying just watch from Port St. John. Good launch. Excellent. Port St. John, another great spot here on Florida's Space Coast to watch a rocket launch for those that may be thinking about coming down, seeing SpaceX launch, since they are going about every 4 days on average. And Ross Warren with a $2 super chat saying, thanks again for the excellent coverage. Well, thank you, Ross, for helping to make that coverage happen. Turning now to the mission stats for this particular flight. T plus 15 minutes, 15 seconds. This was the fourth flight of the Falcon 9 booster, tail number 1080. This was SpaceX's 266th Falcon 9 launch to date, the 72nd Falcon 9 launch of 2023, the 210th Falcon booster reflight. For this calendar year, this was SpaceX's 76th orbital launch, having made the 75th just this morning. In the last 365 days, SpaceX has made 89 orbital launches. This was the 150th orbital launch from this particular pad, Pad 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Overall, for the life of that launch pad, this was launch number 205. And last but not least, this was the 58th orbital launch between Cape Canaveral Space Force Station and NASA's Kennedy Space Center. T plus 17 minutes, 26 seconds, and counting. Just as a reminder for those that didn't catch our comment on this earlier, because SpaceX is not providing mission audio nor the telemetry data on the Falcon 9 upper stage, we're going to go ahead and wrap up our live coverage here on YouTube, but be sure to keep an eye on our social media accounts, especially X, for an update on Starlink satellite deployment. That is T plus 1 hour, 5 minutes, 29 seconds into flight. Or for those that just want to look at a clock, that'll be right about 11:22 this evening Eastern time. Do want to thank a couple more super chat donations that came in since our last round of those. Dang Panda with a $10 super chat donation. Thank you, Panda. As well as Kevin Kelly, also with a $10 super chat donation. Really appreciate the both of you supporting our coverage here, as well as everyone else who made a donation throughout the conversation, and to our newest channel members and those celebrating channel membership milestones, and those who were able to make a donation to others to become channel members themselves and check out some of the perks and benefits of that. So with that, we'll go ahead and wind down our live coverage. Want to thank, of course, Pete Carsons and Chuck Briggs for providing some excellent tracking views and views of some of our gas giant neighbors here in our wonderful solar system. Of course, Adam Bernstein out manning the tracking camera here at the press site. If you haven't already, be sure to follow Adam on X for launch photography from tonight's mission, as well as all the other ones he helps us cover here. So big kudos to Adam for providing both tracking views tonight, as well as some still photography that we will look forward to seeing later on this evening. T plus 19 minutes, 48 seconds into this current mission. Of course, Stephen Young for running all the technical aspects of the show. I've been your host, Will Robinson Smith. Thanks to everyone for being with us tonight, and for all of us here at Spaceflight Now. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend.